Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole. If you enjoy beauty, fragrance, or makeup, then you are definitely in the right place. I'm super excited for today's video. It is finally here, the brand new Pat McGrath Divine Powder Bronzers. Now if you're like me and you have a fair cool undertone, finding not only a good formula, but the correct undertone and shade for a bronzer can be quite difficult. So the shade I went with is called Nude Honey. So I'm really hoping that this shade is as neutral or possibly even cool as I hope it is, so let's get into it. Now I've not tried this shade whatsoever, so I'm really hoping that it is as neutral or possibly even as cool as I hope that it is. And if you enjoyed this video while you're watching, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started right now. Alright, so let's first go over a couple of quick details about these new bronzers. So these bronzers retail for $39 US, and you do get 9.5 grams or 0.33 ounces of product. Now to be honest, I don't really feel like that's extremely high, especially for a luxury brand, so overall, not too upset at the price. But of course, that all comes down to how great the formula actually is, and also if you can find a good shade for your skin tone. Now overall, the packaging is just like some of Pat McGrath's other Divine blushes. So it has the rose gold packaging, and then the actual packaging of the bronzer is the exact same as her other blushes. Alright, let's open this bad boy up and see what the shade Nude Honey looks like in person. Now it does have a mirror on the opposite side. I am going to cover it up so I don't blind you guys. So just a first impression of the shade, it does appear to be a nice true neutral shade. So I just brought this up a little bit closer, that way you can see the crown imprint that is on the bronzer. Alright, I'm super excited. I honestly was expecting this shade to appear a little bit orange in the pan, but let's see how this shade actually translates on the skin. Before I get into application, let me first show you a few swatches and comparisons. So I think I'm actually going to do live swatches with you because I have not swatched this yet, and I really want to see what the formula feels like. So let me do a little swatch here. Ruin the imprint. Alright, I'm excited because it does not appear to be too dark. So here again is a shade Nude Honey. The next bronzer I have is from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is her powder bronzer in the shade Rosewood. Now I remember really enjoying this shade because it appeared to have a little bit of a rosy kind of brown undertone to it. So let's pop that right next to Nude Honey. Alright, so interesting. They both appear to have, I would say, a true neutral undertone. They're pretty close. Just looking at these in person, I'm almost not able to tell the difference. I don't know, what do you guys think about these two shades? Alright, the next bronzer is from Morphe, and this is from the Bronze Show collection, and this is in the shade Bronze Vibes. Now what's interesting is I don't remember the Morphe bronzer really having any sort of a sheen, but compared next to these other two and the Pat McGrath bronzer, the Morphe does appear to have a little bit of luminosity to it. The next bronzer comparison I have for you is from Tarte. Now this is a bronzer I have really been enjoying. So this is called the Shape Tape Glow Bronzer. So here is an up close look at all the different bronzers. So again, we have Nude Honey from Pat McGrath. Next up is Rosewood from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And then we have the Morphe bronzer in the shade Bronze Vibes. And the final swatch was the Tarte Glow Bronzer. So the new Pat McGrath bronzer doesn't really appear to have much of a sheen. I would say it's more of a satin to matte finish. Alright, so the one thing I am noticing right away is this bronzer looks very neutral, even a little bit cool tone in the pan. But once you actually swatch it out, it does have just a little bit of an orangey undertone, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's get started with application. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely a bronzer in the crease type of gal just for an everyday look, especially on days when I'm working. So let's first do that. I'm just taking my rougher 01 brush, dipping in to pick up a little bit of product. Definitely going to have to tap off. So let me pop a little bit of this shade in the crease. Okay, wow, this is quite pigmented. And I did tap the brush off, but wow. I just zoomed you guys in a bit more. Apologize about that. But yeah, I do like this shade on the left eye. I do have a Shop Miss AOA brush, the E111, that I love for the lower lash line. So let's dip in. Definitely make sure you tap these off. They are quite powdery. I am getting a little bit nervous because this does appear to have a little bit of an orangey undertone, but it will be beautiful on the eyes at least. Alright, so I just applied a bit of mascara to my upper lashes. I didn't even apply any to the lower. I might in a minute here. But next, I really want to get started to see how this bronzer looks on the skin. So I'm going to go in with the IT Cosmetics brush. This I did pick up at Ulta, and this is the number 150. Alright, so let's do the forehead first. I'm a little bit nervous to see what this looks like, but it's all fun. Now I am going in with a little bit more product because I can see it in my mirror, but I know it's probably a little bit difficult to tell on camera. I know I mentioned that quite a bit, but that's just how it is. Certain things show up more, other things show up less. I do like how it's sitting on the skin. It's not emphasizing any texture or pores yet. Now, it doesn't really look luminous, but I wouldn't say it's a flat matte either, so I would say it's almost a satin finish. Alright, so it is pretty natural looking. Of course, you could go in and build that up even more, but next let's move on to the cheeks. Now, I did forget to mention because I was so excited, the only thing I have on my skin is the Danessa Myricks Blur Balm in the shade 1. Now, I did not apply any powder because typically in my experience, usually when you go in with a powder bronzer on top of powder, they just blend out even more effortlessly. So I just wanted to see how it would sit on top before powdering. Why is there always a plane that goes by when I am recording? Every time. Alright, so let's dip in again. Just picked up a little bit of product. Again, no blush, no highlight. Oh, I can hear the birds, you guys. I have not heard the birds outside yet. I mean, we literally got 2 feet of snow the other day, so it's been quite cold here, and I am definitely ready for summer. Alright, so this is quite effortless, I will say, as far as the application goes. So one light layer, nothing on this side. What do you guys think about this shade so far? Does look pretty natural on the skin. Just trying to decide if I should go in with a bit more or not. Let me just add a bit more to the right side. And I need my other mirror. That mirror is quite small. Alright, so kind of 1 to 2 light layers. What do you guys think about this shade as a bronzer? Alright, so before I get into my final thoughts, let's take these swatches and this face outside. That way you can see what it looks like in natural daylight. Alright, so I'm not actually all the way outside. The traffic is so loud right now, but I do think this is a good spot to see what the skin is actually looking like. So first of all, here are the 4 swatches. Now the shade that is closest to this first finger right here, that one was the Pat McGrath, so on my right, your left probably. So as you can see, these are all, I would say, pretty neutral, but this shade is definitely not cool tone like it looked like in the pan. Alright, so I will say I really do enjoy this formula. You guys saw I just did a couple of quick buffs, and I will say this formula is buildable. And I don't feel like it's really emphasizing any of my texture or anything like that. And I would say it does look quite natural on the skin. And also keep in mind, I did not go in with any powder. So of course, if you use powder first or even after, you'd really be able to buff in any harsh edges that you may see. But I just wanted to see the application without powder. So yeah, what do you guys think about this bronzer? So I will say with most Pat McGrath products, especially the powders, they do last well on the skin. So if this bronzer does anything funky, it doesn't last well, or it starts to rub off or get patchy or anything like that, I will definitely let you know in the comments down below. But I do expect this bronzer to hold up pretty well throughout the day. So overall, I am glad I decided to pick up Pat's new bronzers just to test out. I really do enjoy the formula, at least so far. But I will say I'm just a little bit disappointed in the shade. Now, it's not a true warm tone by any means, but it's just not quite as neutral or even cool than I typically like. So my opinion is, if you are a die-hard Pat McGrath fan, you're probably going to pick up this bronzer anyway to test out. And I really don't think you will be disappointed. However, do I think you need this bronzer? If you have a large collection like me, I would say you could probably pass, but I was just excited to test it out. So definitely let me know all of your thoughts down below. Have you guys picked up Pat's new bronzers? Have you tested them out? Do you like the formula? Were the shades a good shade match for your skin tone? Let us know all of your thoughts down below. So overall, yes, it is a very nice bronzer, nothing earth-shattering or innovative or anything like that. But I really hope you all enjoyed today's review. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye guys!